Welcome to my first mod review video, and here's 10 medieval mods for 1.20.1. Starting off at number 1, we have Sniff's Weapons. This mod adds a multitude of new weapons and new armors. Included in this mod are great axes, which deal more damage than regular axes. And on a critical hit, the great axe deals AoE damage, meaning it deals damage to surrounding mobs. Great swords are another new weapon this mod adds, and just as the great axe, it deals more damage than a regular sword as you'd expect. It also has a greater sweep attack. If the wielder of the sword crouches and swings it at a mob or a player, they will get launched into the air. As you might have seen in the chest, there is also new pickaxes. And they're basically just big pickaxes that can block hits. But a critical hit will slam the mob or the player into the ground. And of course, it also can mine like a regular pickaxe. Lastly, we have the longbow, which can shoot further and does a lot more range damage than a regular bow. But it takes longer on the drawback. And it has this really cool little animation after you shoot. Now, onto the armors. This mod adds 2 new sets of helmets and 2 new sets of chest plates, and 4 armor varieties. All of the helmets and chest plates are dyeable too. The armor is completely cosmetic and has the same stats as regular chest plates. That's okay though, because you can look like an actual beast wearing these. Next up at number 2, we have Epic Knights. Get comfortable for this one, guys, because this is a big one. Now let's start by going over the weapons this mod includes. Now there are a gazillion new weapons in this mod that it would take way too long for me to cover them all, so I'll cover some of the best ones in my opinion. Beginning with the lance. I'm sure most of you already know what this weapon is used for, but if you don't, it's used during jousting tournaments where each opponent tries to push the other off of their horse as they run towards each other. So just as real life, this weapon is used only while riding a horse. The lance can be used to knock other players or mobs off their horse while also inflicting damage. Next, we have the Zweihände. I have no clue if I'm saying that right, but I'm not German, so give me a break. I included this one because first of all, just look at it. And second, it's a hard-hitting sword that can damage enemies through their armor. Now, the last weapon I'll be showing for this mod is the Lucerne Hammer. This hammer looks sick as hell. It hits for 9.76 attack damage, oddly specific, but not only that, it can hit through 20% of a player or mob's armor. Now that may not seem like a lot, but your armor is meant to protect you, so imagine taking 20% of your armor off and then getting smacked by a hammer. Now with that out of the way, we move on to the armors, which there are many. This mod adds a bunch of realistic armors that real knights wore, like the Kettle Hat or the Crusader armor set that was actually worn by the infamous Knights Templar. All in all, there are 12 sets of armor and a bunch of bonus armor to mix and match your set. Now at number 3, I'm going to break up all this armor and weapons with some structures that are included in the Medieval Buildings mod. This mod adds a bunch of naturally spawning structures to your world, ranging from houses to boats to towers and even forts. Now those were some cool structures, but they pale in comparison to this next mod. At number 4, we have the Lost Castle. This mod adds a massive castle that naturally generates in your world. You can find this castle by buying a Lost Castle map from a journeyman cartographer. Once you have located this castle, you'll find it's not so lost after all. It is inhabited by a ton of Vindicators and Evokers. As you make your way through the halls of this castle fighting off enemies, you'll see the grand interiors that also have secret passages and loot chests. Next up at number 5, we have simple Netherite horse armor. As the name suggests, this mod adds in Netherite horse armor that you can collect in loot chests in Bastion remnants. It must be pretty rare to spawn since it took 4 bastions to get one, but if you like having a horse on your journeys, they'll look badass wearing this armor. At number 6, we have Lucky's Armory. This mod includes 7 new sets of armor and 2 new buckets of molten iron and gold, starting with Bone Armor set, which can be crafted with bones in the typical armor crafting recipe. Then we have the oddball of this mod, that is the Turtle Armor set, which gives the turtle shell helmet, chestplate, leggings, and boot variants. Next, we have the Plated Armor set, which is my personal favorite. It is crafted using string and raw iron around leather armor pieces in the crafting table. Moving on to the Heavy Iron set, And this is where things get a bit strange but also realistic. To craft the set, you'll place a regular iron set in the table and surround each piece with iron as so. But as you'll notice, when you put on the helmet, it limits your vision as if you were really wearing the helmet. Personally, I think this is an obnoxious feature, but to each their own. We also have the heavy gold and diamond sets, which are crafted just as the iron set, with their corresponding resource. The gold helmet also limits your vision while wearing the helmet, but the diamond helmet doesn't for some reason. And now the heavy netherite set is crafted just like the netherite armor, but of course with the heavy diamond set. Really sucks this helmet limits your vision because this armor looks sick. And of course you can't forget the molten iron and gold that doesn't burn items. At number 7, we have a twist in the type of medieval mods we're looking at. I present to you Epic Samurais. This mod adds 35 new armor sets, including 29 samurai sets, 5 ninja sets, 1 steel armor set, and 1 kimono set. Most armor types have 3 variants: the regular set, the light set, and the master set. Also included in the armor is a kitsune mask and an oni mask, each giving the player bonuses for wearing them. Now that's just the armors for this mod. This mod also has a bunch of Japanese weapons as well, like the katana or the wakizashi or even the kamiyari. Still, I have no idea if I'm saying that stuff right, but I'm not Japanese. This mod just keeps going on, but the last feature for this mod is they have Japanese mythology mobs that can naturally spawn, like the kitsune, the oni, and even the Jorogumo. Finally, onto number 8, we have Souls-like armors and weapons. This mod, as the name suggests, adds a variety of 3D Souls-like armor and weapon varieties for you to wear and choose from. Some of my favorites are the Hunter, the Assassin, the Wizard, and the Wolf set. Don't forget, this mod also adds a bunch of Souls-like weapons and shields too, like the Spirit's Axe, Blood Trident, Bloodthirsty Blade, or even the Dragon Slayer's Great Axe. There are also a bunch of shields for you to choose as well. Each one gives you absorption on each use for a brief period of time. On to number 9, and we have Better Weaponry. This mod adds 18 new weapons and 9 different resource types, including 2 new types, Emerald and Amethyst. The list of new weapons are as follows: Dagger, Scythe, Rapier, Cutlass, Sickle, Spear, Katana, Battle Axe, Glaive, Hammer, Broadsword, Claymore, Shuriken, Chakram, Mace, and the Scythe. This mod also adds Amethyst and Emerald swords as well. There are also a bunch of new shields included in this mod, and last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we have camps, castles, and carriages. This mod adds a variety of structures for you to find in your Minecraft world. Here's a list of all the structures in this mod: the Red Roof Castle, the Castle of the Undead, Wandering Trader's Camp, Pillager's Camp, Pillager's Broken Carriage, Witch's Wagon, the Ruined Drum Tower, Pillager's Prison Van, and Piglin's Camp. There are also 2 mini-bosses included in this mod. Sir Marrow, who spawns in the Castle of the Undead. Amazing name, I wonder where they got that from. And this Hoglin Jockey, now I spent a whole hour looking for one to show y'all, but I couldn't find one. But anyways guys, that is 10 medieval mods for Minecraft 1.20.1. All mods shown in this video will be linked down in the description, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments, and if you're feeling brave and knightly, subscribe.